the weather was lovely, and I was like, oh, it's like ice cream weather or whatever. And Shane was like, I want vodka and ice cubes. And Donica was like, yep. I was like, not you.
Behind every creative person or small business is a great story waiting to be told.
And we are here to tell them.
I'm Shane, aspiring author and man behind I-Endeavour.
I'm Hannah, semi-abstract artist and woman behind Sarah's Studio. And this is the
I-Endeavour podcast.
Hi and welcome to episode 7 of the I-Endeavour podcast. We're here today with Treasa Moriarty. Hi!
Hi
How are
guys! You? Grand, how are you guys?
Good.
So why don't you tell us a bit more about yourself and what it is you do?
Okay, so I'm Treasa and I am a midwife. I work in one of the maternity hospitals in Dublin currently in the emergency department. I've worked in kind of labour wards, postnatal wards, and now in the emergency department. A little bit of everything. And then I sort of set up my own little business last summer, middle of lockdown. Sure, what else would you be doing on your days off? I suppose. So I teach baby massage classes, and that's kind of how it started. I did a baby massage instructor course back in 2019. I kind of thought, what else would I be doing on my annual leave? I might as well do a course. And then I kind of like fluffed around with it a bit. I feel like for kind of a year, I was like, will I do classes? Like, do I rent a hall? Do I this? Do I that? And then lockdown happened. I was like, oh, I'll go online. That's easier, maybe. That's kind of where everything grew from. So it's my it's called Leanbh Nua, which means new baby in Irish. So it's kind of, I thought it kind of covered a multitude, but obviously I do need to explain what it actually means sometimes.
It's a very apt name.
It is, yeah. It's a perfect name.
Yeah.
And how do you find working in the different departments? Like, is there one that's much more stressful than others, or?
You're in emergency now, but you meant like previously.
Yeah, before. Delivery is definitely stressful. I mean, it is lovely delivering babies and, you know, handing them over to the parents and being like, oh, congratulations, and meeting them for the first time thing. But it's stressful. I feel like I was always waiting for something to go wrong, which is probably not a good idea. But you kind of are always on edge a little bit because things can change at any minute. So I probably find labour ward the most stressful from that point of view. Postnatal then is a different kind of stress because you could have 6, 7, 8 women and all their babies and you're looking after them, or more sometimes if it was very busy. So you're a little bit strapped and you can't really give a huge amount to the women. You're basically just keeping them alive, keeping the babies alive and giving them pain relief, and you're kind of like, okay, great, everyone's alive, we're winning here. Whereas you don't get to feel like you're maybe helping them so much or actually preparing them to go out into the world. And now casualty or the emergency department is, I love it because it's a bit of everything, and I suppose you're always kind of kept on your toes. You don't know what's going to come in, but I really, really like that. And also then if something is a bit dramatic, you're moving them along somewhere else and everything settles back down again. So everywhere has their own little kind of quirks, I suppose.
Yeah, because for those that don't know, I had a baby. I had Donica in 2019, and I had a hyperemesis pregnancy, and I was in hospital weekly, and I was taken into the emergency department numerous times, like over Christmas, New Year I was in, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Early hours in the morning and stuff. And we think we met you. So I discovered Treasa just by chance on Instagram when I was looking for sort of after, you know, things to do after with Donica once we were in lockdown and everything. And we did your baby massage course, which is great and I'd highly recommend. But when I saw you on that, I was like, oh my God, Shane. Because I was out of it for most of the early pregnancy because I was just so bad with hyperemesis. But I remember faces and I was like, I know her. And then I couldn't quite remember it, and you were like, she's in the emergency department. And I was like, oh yeah. So we definitely met you at some stage.
We met you somewhere along the line.
Yeah. But I don't know where.
We were in there so often.
We were in there a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, from the staff point of view, it's a great department to work.
Yeah. Well,
They were always so good, though.
they were so nice,
Really
and
good.
we won't name the hospital, but yeah. For me, actually, it was actually nice going in because being at home, I was so ill. It was so stressful that going in, you knew someone was going to look after you. That you started to. I started to. I'm sure normal pregnancies don't start to know everyone in the hospital, but I knew everyone. In the hospital.
Everyone knew you.
Yeah, I used to walk in and go to the administration room, and they used to be like, she used to come first because she's really sick, and I'd be like, oh my god, all the other mothers queued up. I used to be so embarrassed, but I was really bad.
You were, yeah. There was many occasions, middle of the night, having to drive into town, and
going in was actually, I think most people are like, I don't want to go in. I was like, just take me in now because I'm ready for my fluids.
Yeah. That was it.
Anyway, we digress, but we were just explaining how we knew you.
The small world.
Sum up.
How would you sum up exactly what you do in 5 words?
Just with the Leanbh Nua or in general?
Anything, however you want to go for.
I did think of this earlier and forgot what I came up with. I suppose, okay, with Leanbh Nua, the aim is support, encourage new parents. That's 3. Support, encourage new parents during pregnancy and postnatally. I know that's more than 5 words.
That's fine.
That's okay.
It's okay.
We won't count them.
We ask all these questions, and then we can't do
ourselves.
Yeah, on one of the previous podcasts, somebody went back to us and asked us how we would describe what we do in 5 words, and we were on the spot, but we definitely couldn't do it.
No, we couldn't do it.
So
I couldn't do it anyway.
It's tough. It's a
I'd
tough
be like
question.
blue and lilac and
Paints.
So have you always wanted to be a midwife, or what made you want to go into midwifery?
That's kind of a funny and long story, so I'll try and keep it short. The short answer is no. I never really planned on becoming a midwife till the last minute. I feel like when I was younger, I wanted to be a ballerina. That was it. Nothing else. I was going to be prima ballerina. That was never going to happen. I soon realised fairly quickly. And then for ages, all through school and everything, I really wanted to do medicine, or I thought I really wanted to do medicine. And it was going down that track. And then, again, long story short, didn't get the points and kind of was like, oh, do I go into the college course that I got, or do I look at something else or whatever? And I didn't know. So I did midwifery straight out of school. I didn't do general nursing beforehand, which is kind of a new enough course. I think it came in 2006 or something. So you don't have to have done your nursing first. And I always kind of knew nursing was not something that I wanted to do. Don't know exactly why, but nurses are amazing. But I can't do that. So kind of just flicking through the CAO book, came across midwifery, and I was like, oh, I like babies and people. I kind of, makes it. So I kind of looked up a little bit more about it, and then found that it was to me anyway, seemed like a kind of bridge between medicine and nursing almost, because you do have a level of, I suppose, autonomy. That's the word. You can kind of, I suppose, make certain decisions and things, but then obviously you have the protection of there's other people around you, you're not making all the decisions. So I kind of liked that idea. And that's how I kind of fell into it, applied for it, got it. I repeated my leaving cert because it seemed like a good idea at the time. And I got midwifery, and now I'm here. So that's kind of a shortened version of it.
Right, and what would you say is the one thing you enjoy most about what you do?
I think meeting mums mostly at the moment, obviously, because the dads can't really come into the hospitals. But I think just getting to chat with the mums about maybe their pregnancy or maybe their other kids at home. Probably at the moment, because there isn't really anything else to do except go to work. It's lovely to meet other people.
Yeah. And is that one of the things that attracted you to your own little business, was the kind of the people side of things, the more like speaking to people and kind of offering that support?
I think so. So I was like, okay, how can I help, or what can I do? I obviously can't fix the whole problem, but kind of where it came from. Just I do really enjoy, as you probably guessed, just talking to people, and then just, I suppose, providing something postnatally. That was the main aim. So that's where the baby massage came from. Classes, mums can meet up, they're learning a skill, they can maybe learn things from each other. I might have other things I can help them with a little bit as well. That's kind of where it started, and then I thought, like, what other things could I bring into this? So I did an antenatal education course, teaching course back 2019, like September to January 2020. So literally just got in there before COVID hit, which was great. So that kind of brought in a little bit of the antenatal thing, kind of for mums and dads before the baby's born. So do classes like preparation for labour, pregnancy, like how to try and have the best pregnancy possible, and then tips for postnatally as well. So when the baby's born, kind of practical tips, like some people have never changed a nappy before.
We hadn't.
No. There's so many things that you just don't realise you have no idea about, and it's terrifying. Just, I remember the first day in the hospital just being like, what am I supposed to do?
I'd given birth and then you had to leave, and I was like, what the hell?
It moves and it's crying and it's pooping and it needs to feed. Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Donica never slept.
No.
Yeah, like that aftercare support is definitely like something that I felt was missing after I'd given birth, because I'd spent so much of my pregnancy in hospital as well. I was a bit like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And actually you were saying as well, like, if we had been given the option to be able to do the antenatal classes at home beforehand,
we definitely
it would
have
have been a huge benefit.
It was such a struggle for me to go in.
Yeah, you were so sick trying to have to go in that would have been a huge thing. So it's a great little service.
It's a high premises market out there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like, are you suffering, my friend? You can still do your classes.
Yeah. Because I just remember there being real pressure about them as well. Like, you have to do these.
Yeah.
You can't miss them. And then it was like, well, you're struggling to get out of bed, but we feel like we have to get there.
For our benefit.
It is for
they
our
weren't
benefit,
they weren't like telling us we had to do it.
Yeah, no, it is for your own benefit.
If you don't attend classes, you can't have your baby here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like your classes, because it feels like you have a bit more support. Like, not even because we didn't do the, like, you know, the option after we'd had Donica to talk to you about those little things, because we didn't know, we didn't know you had your business then. But the baby classes and everything, it was just nice to take a little bit of time out and like have someone else sort of take control.
Yeah, and see other parents and stuff like that,
hour,
and their kids, and it's a nice little kind of community that you end up building up with the little families and stuff.
What made you want to start your own business?
Again, good question. I think I like to do my own thing a little bit. Probably always have a little bit too much. But I always kind of really like the idea of having my own business and kind of doing it the way I wanted, and not having to report back to somebody about, you know, obviously that's completely needed in certain situations. But I just really like the idea of maybe having something that was mine, that I could just do what I wanted with it, really. And yeah, that's kind of how it started, I suppose. And then I heard about the baby massage classes, and I kind of thought, oh, that's something nice. I'd like to do that. And it kind of grew from there. I did this course. It was just a 5-day kind of intensive course, and it was really, really good. And it kind of gave you loads of tips of, I suppose, obviously how to teach the course and everything, but how to just set up a little business as well. And I thought, this is really interesting. I really like the sounds of this, and you know, maybe down the line at some point I might go and do it completely, way down the line probably. But yeah, I kind of just started from, I suppose, wanting to do my own thing in my own time, without having to feed back to anyone what I was doing, really.
Yeah.
Not that interesting.
Do you find like the other aspects of having your own business difficult? Like, because obviously there's a lot of other bits and pieces that go on behind the
I
scenes.
was just going to ask that as well. Like your books and all the bits and pieces that come with a small business that people don't even think about.
Yeah, I think I definitely underestimated that when I kind of started. Like the first few classes, I had like a copybook and I was writing everybody's names down and like who paid and who hadn't and who'd been sent the right forms and blah blah. And definitely then got quite overwhelmed with the reality of actually running a small business. Probably didn't research that the best before I started, but I definitely hit a bit of a wall. So I started the business and the classes kind of June last year, and September then I was getting which was great, loads of mums and dads and families wanting to do baby massage classes. It was just baby massage classes at the time, and I was kind of thinking, gosh, I can't do everything because I'm working full time, and then I started a master's course in September as well that I kind of had forgotten about over the summer, and then it all of a sudden was starting and I was like, oh flip, like I can't actually do everything. And I think realizing that you can't do everything and you do need help at some point was probably a big learning curve for me. Like, okay, I need someone to come on board with me for this. So I did actually. I came across a lady again on Instagram. Her name's Fallon. She has a business. It's called Virtual Support Hub, and she basically is like she's a PA, but does everything virtually. So I contacted her and I was like, basically, I need help. And so I started working with her then. So I've been working with her since September, and it just took a huge weight off. So she basically does all the admin things for me, which is so amazing. And like sends all the emails, organizes Zoom links for classes, all that kind of thing. So I don't have to worry about it. So I'm cheating a little bit on that side because I'm not.
No, that's not cheating. That's great.
A great idea.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it is literally the best thing that I did. For the business, it just took a huge weight off my mind, and I didn't have to kind of go, oh gosh, have I sent out the links? I can't remember. Was everyone on the email for that? Like that kind of thing. So she's amazing. Couldn't do it without her.
That's really good.
That's really good. I've never really heard of anything like that before, so that's a really good support network.
Really interesting.
Yeah. And so do you think that there was a kind of gap in the market, but more like the online and virtual classes side of things? Do you think they were lacking before the pandemic? Or do you think that as a result of what's been going on has kind of brought them around? And do you think there's something that will continue going on after, hopefully soon this is all over and we can get back to normality? I
suppose I wasn't looking personally for the classes, obviously, because it didn't really apply to me. So I didn't really know. I suppose online, I didn't really know what was out there. When I did the baby course, they said, that the International Association of Baby Massage really doesn't want this to be an online thing. It needs to be in person. And I did get that, because I suppose they wanted it to be a very personal thing where parents could meet and, there was a lot of interaction. So it was really, discouraged to be doing online classes. So I feel like I took that very seriously. Like, I'm not allowed to do online classes. I'm not allowed to do online classes. And there would be quite a lot of baby massage classes around, or there were anyway, in Dublin. I just kind of did the odd Google search just to kind of see what the competition was. Thankfully, around my area, there wasn't too much. So I was kind of thinking, okay, I'm hopefully getting in the right direction here. But then obviously COVID happened. And then the Baby Massage Association were like, oh, actually, you can do baby massage classes online. I was like, great. And I feel like, I guess, again, where they were coming from with the whole, it should be in person and blah, blah, blah. But I've been able to reach mums like all over the country from it, being online. So I feel like mums and dads, families who maybe are that little bit further out, maybe down the country, more kind of rural areas, who can't pack up the baby on a Tuesday morning or whatever, or an evening to go for an hour, drive wherever, do the class and go home. Like, it's I can't imagine that's tough. Like, so I definitely think there is a benefit from the online classes, and I hope that they'll stay. I'll definitely be staying doing them.
I think they're great.
I think it's a great option.
Yeah, Donica was still very young when the pandemic hit, and he hadn't been to any classes yet, and yours was the first one. Obviously we did it online because we were in lockdown 1 then, I think. But he still has not been to any.
No.
Poor thing. And it's one of the biggest stresses for me is worrying about the fact that he's not
getting to mingle with other children.
With other children and things like that. So I'm kind of like, we need more.
Yeah.
What else can we do online?
I mean, it's great. I mean, I think the last year and a half has really forced the kind of country's hand to look at all aspects of all business and how it can be done remotely, or working from home or from a specific hub set up somewhere, or whatever it might be. But I think it's changed the kind of the platform now going forward. I don't think we're going to suddenly just revert back to where we were. I think it's actually now this has changed the kind of trajectory of business going forward. And like I think having online courses for stuff like this is a great idea, and as you said, gets to reach people that wouldn't be able to make the classes. I wouldn't say there's huge amounts of availability out in the country for, say, baby massage classes or
if I was at home
like
in
that.
Kerry,
so it's a great thing. And so I hope they do stick around.
Yeah,
you make sure you stick around.
And the pandemic's changed the world. It's like everyone keeps saying, "When we go back to normal," but I don't know. Will we be going straight back to normal? Even when everyone's got the injection. So
yeah, I hate to use it because it was used so much, but the whole new normal thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Like,
you're like, what is that going to be?
Yeah, like life has now changed for sure, but what happens next, I suppose, is it's still unknown, but you never know. Things might be a lot more efficient. This might have kicked the world into gear as well, climate change wise, or whatever it may be. Like, there's a lot less pollution. People aren't commuting. I remember that at the very beginning,
Venice.
Yeah, like I think Venice was one of them, and I think also above China was another.
Yeah.
That because people weren't able to commute and businesses weren't running the way they were before, huge amounts of pollution were just gone.
Yeah, they were like, there's dolphins in the canals in Venice.
Yeah. because the world had been given a breather. Like, so I don't know. I think there will be more of a focus on that. And yeah. Anyway, back to your business. Good
points.
I think
this has nothing to do with Treasa's company.
I think you should definitely continue doing what you do.
Shane's your little motivational speaker now.
I'll stand up for you.
Whenever you're having a bad day, you can just go back to this and Shane will be like, keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I'll add a little sting in there for you. So every time you need to kick up the bum. Me.
Yeah.
So we kind of
back on track now.
We kind of touched on the classes that you offer a few minutes ago before all that rambling. So can you tell us a bit more about the classes you offer?
Yeah. So there's baby massage, obviously, which we've spoken about. Antenatal classes. So within them, I kind of break down, basically try to gear them towards what the parents want themselves. I mean, I could talk about pregnancy and labour and postnatal period for hours, and people could be like, what is she talking about? But so I try to gear it off what the parents want. But I kind of generally break it down to like pregnancy, if they're a little bit earlier on in pregnancy, like kind of healthy eating, exercise, that kind of thing, health promotion, I suppose, more so than anything else. And then more specifically then another class will be on labour, because again you could go on about that forever, so to try and break it down. So usually just one class on that, and then I usually have a postnatal class, so that'd be like self-care and baby care kind of tips and things for the first 6 weeks. So midwifery kind of covers up to the first 6 weeks, and after that then it's like, don't know what to do, don't ask me, please go away.
I found that.
Yeah. It's tough. Like, you suddenly have this human that you have no idea what you have to do with. Obviously, you know they have to eat and have to be looked after, but you just have no
I
idea.
remember. Oh God, I'm sorry, I'm about to go off on another tangent. I remember when we were home, and I'd say we were home about a week or something, and my dad come up and had like a dry nappy or something for a while, and I was like crying because I was like, "Why is his nappy dry?" He was fine. But I like didn't know what to do.
Yeah, you do worry about the weirdest things as well, and it doesn't change.
Oh yeah, it doesn't change.
It doesn't change.
I still worry about everything.
Yeah, everything that happens, you're like, is that okay? Is he all right? Is
Yeah.
she doing that?
What is normal?
Why is he screaming at me?
He was out in the garden today eating grass. I was like, "Don't eat the grass! Don't eat the grass!" And Shane's like, "Just leave him with the grass." I'm like, "No, you can't eat grass."
Look, he'll realise pretty quickly that he doesn't like grass.
Shane was like, "He needs to build up his immune system." I'm like, "No, don't eat the grass."
Yeah, probably you'll figure out it doesn't taste great.
Yeah.
Although Donica would eat anything.
That is also true. That is also
Literally
true.
anything.
What would you do?
If you weren't doing what you're doing now, what do you think you'd be doing?
Winning the lotto, buying a yacht, and no. That's a good question. Like, I mean, I'll try the ballet thing again. Probably not. I was only talking about this to my mum. I probably from Instagram, everybody knows that I have a dog who I probably treat like a child. But I feel like I would maybe do something with animals. Don't really know a huge amount about them except my dog, who doesn't really act like a normal animal. But I was literally only saying this morning. I was like, I would love to be a vet. But yeah, that's probably like totally mad.
No.
No, it's interesting because it's the same. It's obviously not the same because one's
definitely
animals
not
and
the
one's humans, but as in like it's the same kind of mentality of helping lives, save lives, or whatever it is that you're doing. Like it's just one being on humans and one on animals.
Yeah.
It's the same kind
Doggy
of thing.
massage.
Yeah.
Have you ever given him a dog massage?
He loves it.
Try to.
He loves it. Dogs love to be pampered.
Yeah. I want a dog.
He's so confused. He just thinks he's human, or else he thinks we're dogs. He doesn't get the difference.
That's funny.
So, is there any other areas of, say, midwifery or mother and baby classes that you could see yourself teaching in the future?
Well, I recently did my lactation consultant exam. That was in September. So I have started doing a few breastfeeding classes as well to try and bring that into the whole business, I suppose, as well. So they're a little bit slower at the minute, they're up and coming, I suppose. I had one kind of a breastfeeding workshop. I geared it at like pregnant mums, I suppose, rather than postnatal mums, just to kind of give them a guideline as to basic tips on like how to hold a baby when you're breastfeeding, what to expect when you're breastfeeding. Because I kind of thought, well, not that there's no point in obviously trying when the baby's born. Obviously, there's always such a point because it's so important. But I feel like if you had a few tips and pointers before you have this screaming, crying baby in your arms, that was the aim anyway. So hopefully have a few more of those classes coming up over the summer. Just kind of one-off kind of workshops for mums and dads. Dads can get involved as well and learn how to help out with breastfeeding. Because I think there's sometimes a lot of misconception around breastfeeding, and that they're like, oh well, dad can't be involved and the dad can't do this and that. There's so many things that dads can do to help. So that's kind of another part of the class. So that's something I'm looking forward to trying to hopefully push more over the summer. And they're the kind of 8 classes I feel at the moment. And then I am working on my first Leanbh Nua product at the moment.
Yay!
It's exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting. In the works at the minute. It's a pregnancy journal. So I love like my diary and keeping everything written down, and apps and things, and everything on my phone just doesn't do it for me. I have to write it down, or otherwise I don't remember things. There's so much going on. But I kind of thought, I suppose, pregnancy is a nice time. Hopefully on the first baby anyway, there's a time you have the chance to maybe jot down a few things of how the pregnancy is going, or that kind of thing. So that's kind of the idea of the way it's going. It's hopefully going to be ready in the summer as well. So
that's really exciting.
Yeah, that's really cool.
There's literally so many things to write down when you're pregnant as well. You like remember this, or this happened this day, in case you have to tell the doctor, and like.
Yeah, no, there is really, especially if you're having a tough time.
Yeah, there's loads of things you could use a journal for, like especially like you were saying like having a difficult pregnancy. I used to have to write down so many things. I used to have to write down like if I'd managed to eat that day, or how much fluid I thought I'd taken in, and like had I kept up with like all the different tablets, or like how they'd affected me, because I had to try a few different things to help me and stuff like that. So I think that's a great idea.
Oh yeah, definitely. Again, something that's really helpful.
So yeah, hopefully it will help. Anyway, that's the aim.
Definitely.
It definitely will. 100%.
Highs and lows.
What would you say has been the biggest high so far of your small business, and maybe the biggest thing you've learned while doing it?
It's always a high when someone signs up for a class. I'm like, oh my god, I realise that I'm not like some creepy person trying to steal their money and whatever. So that's always very exciting. Starting off a new course with the group is, I always kind of feel very excited and kind of relieved when that happens. So I feel that's probably like the biggest high. Just that it's people are still doing the classes and it's still running nearly a year on, which
really
is
amazing.
great. And we're nearly at the 1 year mark.
You should get yourself a balloon then.
Yeah,
It's tradition.
has to be a baby balloon though.
And the biggest learning curve, I think, was realizing that I can't do it all, and that I do help is required sometimes, and then I suppose finding Fallon and the support hub, and just I suppose being able to hand over a level of control was a learning curve as well. Being like, okay, yes, I trust you to do this, and she's so amazing. But I think that was probably the biggest learning curve. That you definitely need a little team and a support network behind you to kind of get things moving in the right direction.
I have to say that's a kind of a recurring theme that we've experienced by talking to other people, is that not underestimating how difficult it is, but it's the amount of stuff you have to do to run a small business, and just doing it on your own is just so difficult, and you really do need that support network of other people to help, because it's just overwhelming the amount of stuff that you have to do.
Yeah. Do you see your business expanding in any other ways except for the journal?
I do have loads of plans. I suppose they are kind of down the road. It would be lovely to have my own space that I could at some point, do in-person classes as well as keeping up the online ones. I think they do really work, but having my own little studio or whatever where mums can, and just having it as a nice space where parents can come and just chill as well. Like a little postnatal oasis.
Oh, that sounds
That would
lovely.
be really, yeah. Okay, can we leave?
Can we drop them off
Yeah.
there? Is it a crash?
Yeah. Maybe we have to leave the child with someone else, and then we get to go to the oasis.
Oh yeah.
Is there a bar?
You never know.
Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
You're just like you've been in lockdown
I've been
too
into
long.
it, yeah. I've been indoors too much.
Yeah. This was all pre-lockdown, so.
Oh, it'll happen at some point.
Yeah, I think so.
Keep positive.
Have to keep your dreams going, yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
You can
Look
edit
forward
this
to
bit
it.
out, but earlier today the the weather was lovely, and I was like, oh, it's like ice cream weather or whatever. And Shane was like, I want vodka and ice cubes. And Donica was like, yep. I was like, not you. Not you. Yep.
That's funny. It's so funny. So, do you remember when he was really little? He would be so interested in everything I was drinking.
Everything you were drinking. Doesn't care what I'm drinking.
No, if I had a beer or something and I picked the beer up, he'd be like watching me. And I'd be like, they're too small.
I don't drink, so maybe that's why he wasn't interested in mine. He's
going to be the thing.
He started robbing breakfast smoothies now as well, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Like, we have smoothies in the morning when he's having his porridge, and he's like, ah, like in the smoothie.
Yeah. And
I have like baby dribble down the side of my smoothie glass.
He has his own little cup, his own little mug that has his name on.
Yeah.
And we gave him like his own little bit of the smoothie or whatever.
Tiny little bit.
And he devours it, and then he's just like, looking for more.
Pushes the mug into his mouth like, more and more.
And then he wants more from all of us. And I'm like, no, bugger off, this is my breakfast.
Such a little fiend.
He is, yeah.
I just thought that was really funny today. Vodka and ice cubes, yep. Like, I hear ya.
Bring it on.
And I was like, ice creams, you didn't care. Yep,
vodka. Yeah, vodka and ice cubes. Yeah, we thought, because it was going to be a vodka and Fanta lemon. That's what it was.
Fanta lemon, yeah, I was saying lovely weather for Fanta lemon.
A nice, refreshing drink.
What advice would you give to others wanting to start their own business?
Go for it. You can put it off for ages. I definitely did. Kind of like, oh yeah, well I can't do this and I can't do that, and I'm still looking for whatever. I think just go for it. If it's going to be online, if it's going to maybe look a little bit different to what you kind of thought initially, just start and see what happens. And people will come along and want to do your classes or buy your product or whatever. So I think, just go for it, and then find people who can help you. Don't feel like you have to do it all on your own.
I think that's the biggest takeaway from talking to everyone we've spoken to is just don't feel like you have to try and do everything. Especially when there's people as well, like you found somebody now that can help you specifically with what you're doing. There's people out there that specialize in all the different aspects that you need help with when you're starting up your own business, and not everyone is super expensive and charges 400 quid an hour or whatever. It's saying it's ridiculous. Like there are affordable options as well.
And the small business community is great as well. Like everyone's really supportive. Usually someone knows how to do what you're looking for. And
how have you found the small business community actually?
Great. I think the little chat that Hannah set up is really, really good on Instagram, because you kind of just can throw up anything and someone will get back to you with a suggestion or a link or something, which is great. And then I suppose there's other people doing like baby massage or more pregnancy related things as well, who kind of all link in together and just encourage you and share each other's posts and that kind of thing. So it's actually been really, really nice. I kind of wasn't expecting that or something. I was kind of thinking, oh, everyone's going to be trying to promote their own thing or something, and that's obviously that's not the way it is. Everyone is really there to encourage and support each other, because there is a demand for services, for like maternity services and everything. So again, you can't reach everybody. So you're going to say, oh well, my class is full, but so and so's over there has a space or whatever. So it's definitely very supportive, I think.
I think as well, mainly you only ever really hear about the negative side of social media and the kind of like the negativity that people bring to it. Whereas when we've spoken to other guests on here or yourself, there's an overwhelming amount of support for people, and people are actually really nice to each other. And I think that's one thing that's maybe missed. People don't see it unless they're involved in it. But from the outside, it always looks like a very negative space.
Absolutely, yeah. And I thankfully haven't had any kind of negative experiences with it. It's all just been really supportive. But yeah, it does seem to be always portrayed as this sort of big bad thing that you need to avoid.
Yeah, and it's a great marketing tool. I think that's one of the benefits of it, and probably one of the benefits of these days, like having that it's a free marketing tool if you know how to use it well. I'm useless at using it, but
We're working on it.
yeah, we're working on it. But I am. For someone who works with technology and understands the technical side of things, I am useless when it comes to trying to. Basically, you're creating a brand, and I'm not very good at branding myself. It's very difficult.
We're working on it.
Yeah, we'll get
I'm
there.
the other end of the spectrum where I'm far too chatty and I talk to people and forget that I'm supposed to be selling something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But both of your pages are great. They're so good.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that's very kind. Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
I guess.
I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no, Hannah helps me a lot. With...
No,
Oh, I don't.
Okay.
Don't
I
lie.
just tried to lie. I tried to make it sound like you were much nicer to me.
We are working on it now.
Yeah. Right, you don't want to tarnish yourself with a bad reputation already.
No.
Okay, we'll go forward. How it's going to look. Give it a few weeks.
Share the spotlight.
Is there anyone that you want to give a shout out to? Any other businesses? Anyone else in your field? Or anyone really?
anyone, yeah. I feel like you know, I'd like to say hello to.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Bran, and Bran and all my siblings. Everyone who made this possible. I'm accepting an award or something. Yeah, there's oh gosh, there's so many. There's Rachel on Mama Bee Maternity. She's one of the midwives I work with her. She had a baby, so she's off at the moment. But another one of my colleagues who's doing similar things. So her page is great. And another girl, Patrice, from Serene Infant Massage. She does baby massage classes as well, and she's looking at expanding into other things. So yeah, there's so many. I don't want to go naming too many people because I'll probably forget. You know, when you chat with people,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh gosh. So everybody, yeah, they're all great. Anyone that I'm following, just go follow them. That covers everything.
Yeah, cover all bases. So tell people where they can find you and, find more about your classes and where they can sign up.
Instagram, Leanbh Nua, is my Instagram page. So that is kind of, I seem to get most people signing up through that. There's the link in the bio. Also Facebook, same Leanbh Nua, and I do have a website as well, which is www.leanbhnua.ie, which again has the links for booking into the classes and stuff. But Instagram seems to be the most straightforward. I think you're probably scrolling or whatever and it pops up. I also signed up recently to babyclasses.com, so it's a new kind of platform where people can look up different baby classes, whatever they are, maybe like antenatal classes, postnatal classes, baby classes, all that kind of thing, and you can book through that as well. So that's exciting.
That's really cool.
It's a really good idea. I think it's a mum, Gillian is her name. She's based in Ireland somewhere. I really did my research very well here. She's local. So another small little Irish business, which is great. And you can sign up there as well. So lots of options.
That's great.
Very good.
Yeah, it's really
Thank you
good.
so much for coming on and talking to us. I
Yeah,
know we
thank you
kind
for
of
taking the
rambled a bit, but
Not at all. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. We know you're very busy, so
Yeah.
we really appreciate you taking the time.
thank you.
No, my pleasure. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you for listening to the I-Endeavour podcast.
Join us next week for another episode. You can find us on YouTube or your favourite podcasting app, or on Instagram.
And if you're a creator or a small business that would like to take part in Series 2, email podcast@idyllicendeavour.com.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to make sure you see all future episodes.